A few days ago, I made a short video about Yamcha, and I said in that video that Yamcha is considered to be the second strongest human in the Dragon Ball universe behind Krillin, and I didn't realize how many people were going to comment on that video. You're forgetting about Tien. Tien is stronger than Yamcha. Tien is one of the strongest humans in the Dragon Ball Z universe. Tien. And I'm here today to finally answer the question to the debate that I feel like I've been having for 22 years. Is Tien human? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You're watching the channel Dr. Applesauce. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day here in Texas. I hope you guys know that I love you, God loves you, that there is an awesome plan for your life. So today I want to answer the age-old question that I feel like I have been arguing with my friends for the 22 years that I've been an anime nerd. Is Tien from Dragon Ball Z human? Now, everybody knows who Tien is, and he's a fan favorite character. And I think there's a lot of confusion due to the fact that Tien has the third eye right there. A lot of people aren't sure if he is human or if he isn't human. And he does have a lot of really cool fight scenes at the very beginning of Z, and a few times when I've mentioned in videos that Krillin is the strongest human in the Dragon Ball universe. By the way, feel free to agree or disagree with me in the comments, but the few times that I've said that, there's always a bunch of people commenting saying you're forgetting about Tien. Tien is a human and Tien is stronger. And I decided once and for all to do the research and find, based on canon, based on anything I could find by Akira Toriyama, how I could find verifiable evidence and interviews and proof whether or not Tien is human or Tien is not human. Before we do that, I want to know from you, do you think Tien is human or do you think Tien is not human? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoy this kind of a video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It's free for you to do that. And you can subscribe and hit the notification bell, and YouTube will tell you when I put up new videos. Little disclosure for everybody, I am a redneck who was born and raised in Texas, and I'm gonna say a lot of Japanese names here that I'm probably gonna get them all wrong, so please troll me in the comments below. The first thing I did is I went and looked for Akira Toriyama interviews. I wanted to see if there was any interviews from Akira Toriyama where there was quotes from him talking about Tien's lineage, talking about whether or not Tien is human or not. And I did actually find something. So Akira Toriyama did an interview for, I think it's called Daizenshu. I probably am pronouncing that wrong. But Daizenshu is basically like an unofficial kind of Dragon Ball guidebook that Akira Toriyama and a lot of other people that worked on Dragon Ball, that were writers for Dragon Ball, that they actually gave information and interviews. It's this huge guidebook about the Dragon Ball universe. And Akira Toriyama, in doing an interview with people for this guidebook, actually commented on whether or not Tien is human and what's going on with him and why he has three eyes. So in this interview, Toriyama touched on a question asked by a fan who wondered about Tien's third eye. In his response, Toriyama talked about how in Asia, beings with a third eye on their forehead are thought of as godly and possess the power of true seeing. Toriyama then goes on to confirm that Tien is a part of this ancient three-eyed clan, but because of his training with the Crane Hermit, he lost his ability to use these powers for good purposes. Now, while Toriyama doesn't really definitively tell us, hey, Tien is descended from aliens or this clan is actually, human in origin, he doesn't tell us definitively. He does tell us that Tien comes from a clan that is considered to be godly and have true sight, which are things that humans don't have. So this does give us a little anecdotal evidence, and it makes it look like that Toriyama is actually pointing towards Tien not being human, but there are some other things that I discovered that we're going to talk about that actually do give us a little bit more definitive proof to answer this question whether Tien is human or not. The next thing that I found was actually a tweet from Toshio on Twitter, Toshio916 I believe it is. Toshio is one of the writers for Dragon Ball Super, and Toshio actually tweeted out something that was really, really interesting, and I think that one of the writers for the Dragon Ball franchise is probably a really credible source and somebody that we can trust their opinion on the origin of a character or something, about the canon of the story, or something like that. Something as intensely debated and something that does have some holes in the storyline, like whether or not Tien is human. And so Toshio actually tweeted something out, and what Toshio says, Tien is the descendant of the alien. Therefore, Krillin is the most powerful Earthling, a general view. Now, obviously looking at this tweet, there's a little bit of little typos there. Obviously, Toshio's native language isn't English, right? So that's why there's a few typos there. But we clearly see Toshio, one of the writers in the Dragon Ball universe, one of the writers of Dragon Ball Super, saying that Tien is descended from aliens, and Krillin is the strongest human on Earth. So that's okay. We're getting down the line. We're kind of starting to get some evidence whether or not Tien actually is human or if Tien is descended from aliens. And now we can kind of start to unpack, is Krillin the strongest human on Earth? Or, is Yamcha actually the second strongest human? We're starting to get some evidence from some pretty credible sources whether or not Tien is human. Next up, we have an interview excerpt from Tien's Japanese voice actor, Suzuoki. Suzuoki is the voice actor for Tien, and this is an excerpt from interviews, I believe the same type of interviews being done for Daijinchu, like the original Akira Toriyama interview that we referenced at the beginning. Suzuoki is asked about his experience playing Tien and some things of that nature, and Suzuoki tells us definitively, kind of offhandedly, whether or not Tien is a human or not. So from Suzuoki, so in the studio, Mako-san would say things to me like, "What a loathsome jerk. Tien is different from ordinary humans, but his interactions with Chaosu showed his humanity, so I wasn't very conscious of him not being an Earthling." So we see right there Suzuoki saying, yes, Tien did have a lot of characteristics of a human. He did kind of seem like he was human to an extent that I, as the voice actor for Tien, wasn't really conscious of the fact that he was not an Earthling. Basically, he was saying he wasn't really aware of the fact that Tien is not human. So now we have an accounting from the original voice actor, Suzuoki, of Tien, and I would think he's probably a pretty credible and verifiable source whether or not Tien is human or not, and we have him saying that Tien is actually not human. So far, we have Akira Toriyama, the man himself, rest in peace, the creator of the Dragon Ball world, saying that beings in Asia that have third eyes, this is in reference to Tien, right? He's kind of talking about Tien, why Tien has three eyes, that in Asian culture and Asian society, beings with third eyes are thought to be godly, have godly powers, be kind of otherworldly, other human, and to have true sight, kind of pointing to Tien not being human. Then we have one of the writers for Dragon Ball Super saying that Tien is not human, making Krillin the strongest human. And then we have the voice actor Suzuoki of Tien, the original voice actor of Tien, saying that Tien is not human. These are three incredibly verifiable, very, very legit sources telling us that Tien's not human. So if Tien's not human, what the crap is he? Next, I want to go to the Daijinchu. I keep referencing this Dragon Ball guidebook, and I'm probably butchering the name of it every single time. Please troll me below. I don't care. I don't know how to pronounce Japanese names. You would think that I would after being, an anime fan and a weeb for 22 years, but I digress. We're going to go to the Daijinchu, and we're going to go specifically to the part of the Daijinchu that is categorized as Earthlings. So under the Earthling category from Daijinchu, it says Earthlings were a race that had absolutely no formal intermingling with other planets. But Namekians, Saiyans, and Triclopses, and Tien is a Triclops. Tien is descended from the Triclops clan or the Triclops people group. Namekians, Saiyans, and Triclopses and such drifted to Earth.
Additionally, if we scroll down to the character bio section in the Daijinchu and go down to Tien's character bio, it clearly says that Tien is a descendant of aliens who uses unique techniques, clearly stating that Tien is an alien.
So right there in the official Dragon Ball guidebook saying that Namekians, Saiyans, and Triclopses all drifted to Earth. Tien is descended from Triclopses, meaning Tien is from an alien race that descended to Earth. If Triclopses were from Earth, they wouldn't be lumped into this description with Saiyans and with Namekians as having descended to Earth. So what does this mean about Tien? We can take all of this evidence and put it together and kind of try and figure out, what does this mean about Tien? Is Tien human or is Tien an alien? And I can definitively say that Tien is not human. Tien is indeed descended from an alien race called Triclopses that descended to Earth sometime around or similarly like Saiyans and Namekians descended to Earth in various times. And Tien is a descendant from those Triclopses. Now, who knows what the Triclopses did? Did they create their own community? Did they create their own tribe? We don't really know, but as far as I know, Tien is the only Triclops that we see in the Dragon Ball universe, and that actually kind of lends to the fact that he may very well be a pure blood Triclops, a pure blood alien, or a pure blood descendant of the alien Triclops race, because he is the only Triclops that we see in the Dragon Ball universe, which kind of makes you assume that the Triclopses probably didn't interbreed and, have babies with, humans, essentially, because we would see a lot more of them. If they kept the breeding to themselves and kept their blood pure, so to speak, there would be less and less Triclopses over time. So the fact that Tien is the only Triclops that we see kind of makes you believe that that's the case, that he might be a pure blood Triclops. So in summary, Tien is not human. Tien is actually a Triclops descendant. He is a descendant from the Triclops alien race that came down to Earth like the Saiyans and the Namekians did. If Goku came down to Earth, and let's just say in a crazy hypothetical world, let's say Chi-Chi was a full-blooded Saiyan as well, you wouldn't call Gohan and Goten humans because they were born on Earth. You would call them Saiyans that live on Earth. Well, that's similar to Tien's situation. He is a descendant of alien races that have descended onto Earth, and just because he lives on Earth and is from Earth doesn't make him human. So we can definitively say that Tien, while he lives on Earth, while he is technically from Earth, he is not a human. He is an alien from the Triclops race that descended to Earth, similar to how the Saiyans did and how the Namekians did. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. I love talking about stuff like this. Let me know in the comments. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I'm crazy. If you have any other evidence that I didn't find or I didn't mention, put it in the comments below. I would love to know it. And if you enjoyed this video, again, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so YouTube will tell you when new videos come out. And if you like this one, YouTube says you'll like that one too. So go check it out. And like I always say, my friends, find somebody to love and serve today. Be the change you want to see in the world. See you next time.